Gentlemen, good evening. My name is Virginia Gale, and I'm a resident here in Marion. My question is to the gentleman. Representative Kelly, I'm going to leave you out of this because I know what you are doing on this point. I'm asking the other two gentlemen. The value of property is substantially decreased. However, property tax has been tripled. The talk is helping people who has homes in foreclosure. But I have not heard any of the politicians say anything about we, the people who are trying to cut your meals and choose between buying the oil and paying for the mortgage so as not to go into foreclosure. If you be elected as a representative, I would like to know what would you do to help us here in Florida.
Let me address it from a little bit different perspective. I think you actually started talking about property taxes and where that's at. Some of you all came in late. You might not have gotten one of my brochures, but I ask that you do that before you leave, because the number one thing that I've got listed in there that I think that we really need to address is tax reform, property tax reform. I was talking to a gentleman earlier, and he said, you know, I just got my trim notice, and I've got some vacant pieces of property, and even with the market going down, I'm paying more in property taxes. And I tried to explain to him that basically what that is a state constitutional requirement coming out of Tallahassee that the property appraiser has to base that on market sales, and it has to be done as of last January. That in and of itself is odd and really needs to be changed. Now, the other thing that I have really found over the last number of years, especially as we saw the rapid increase in property sales and values over the last number of years, we were seeing property owners, vacant property owners, business property owners, being priced out of their property because of the property taxes, really through no fault of their own and through no fault of their local governments. As I mentioned earlier, part of that, I believe, has to do with unfunded mandates. But I also think that here locally, Marion County was the third best county in the state of Florida as far as per capita increases over the last 5 years when the legislature went through major reductions. Even with that being said, I have a hard time looking somebody in the eye and saying, you know, your property value doubled last year, so you're going to have to pay double the property tax while I'm only providing you with the same amount of service. I think what needs to happen at the state level is we need to have a fundamental change in how property tax is really looked at, how it's calculated. Nobody likes paying taxes, but they particularly don't like paying them when they feel like they're unfair and unequitable. When you have a house right beside of you and somebody's paying half of what you're paying or 3 times what you're paying in the same exact house in the same exact neighborhood, that's unfair. And I tell you, the only way that we're going to address it is we're not going to be able to tweak it like the legislature's been trying to do over the last number of years. We're trying to treat the whole state of Florida the same. They need to give local rule back to the home counties so that they can be able to come up with creative ways to be able to address their local situations so that we don't have property tax problems like what we're experiencing. Thank you.